Okay, so recently I've been getting a lot of questions from you guys over the DMs on Instagram and on Facebook, and one that I've come across most recently, and most of all, is blending metallics and issues blending metallics. So you can see this centre door here on this car has obviously had an extremely off-coloured paint job on it at some point, and it's come in for a repair, and they also want this colour sorting out. So I thought this would be an ideal video to really go through quite a large blend of obviously like a centre panel rather than a little blow-in blend on a car with some metallic base coat. So obviously the main section that we want to be working on is this centre section, and then we want to be doing a tiny little bit of a blend each side. But to start off with, genuinely all we want to work on is colouring this door up to the same colour as the rest of the car. And for me, one of the biggest things in this that makes the biggest difference is one, your air pressure, and also two, your base coat spray gun. So we're using my Segola 4600 DVR Aqua for this. Now, although I am using solvent base coat for this job, this Aqua does spray solvent base coat without any issues. Now, I've got a 1.2 XL tip in this, and this will handle pretty much any metallic colour as low as 1 bar on the air pressure. Now, I did get a guy get in contact with me this week, and he's struggling with some metallic blends, especially on silvers. And one of the things that he said to me was he'd been recommended to spray at 2 bar of air pressure. Now, I would try and keep your air pressure as low as you can so that the paint atomizes really well. So for something like base coat metallics, I would be going around 1.2 bar. I wouldn't be cranking the pressure up. The higher you put the pressure up, the harder the paint is actually hitting the panel on the car. And what that means is that all the little metallic particles and all the pearls and everything in the paint actually get forced under the surface. So instead of being bright and light like on a silver, you will actually make them darker by basically throwing them at the car too hard. So you want to keep the pressure nice and light. So as far as this job here goes that we're doing, we're not trying to do any blend work on this whatsoever so far. I am literally just concentrating on colouring this one door up, and obviously the repair section that we had in primer. So if this was, say, non-off colour door, you just concentrate on colouring your repair section up first. Once you've got the repair section done, then we can work on the blends. And you can see how short the base coat's stopping there on both sides. It's only going a couple of inches into each side, because my only priority at this stage is to make sure that this door is fully based up in the correct shade, and then we will work on the blends separately. So to split this up, it makes it a lot easier for yourself, especially if someone new to spraying, or you know, you're trying to have a little go at doing a little DIY job at home or something like that. Or maybe, I don't know, you're a smart repairer and you're getting into slightly larger jobs, you know, that sort of thing. Then this is the way that I would personally tackle it. So we'd colour up this centre door. We're happy now that we're all coloured up. So now what we want to do is we want to tack off all the surrounding areas to make sure that there's no overspray. And if you keep a keen eye on the tack cloth here, you'll see that the tack cloth now is very nice and clean. And after we've tacked off shortly, there will be a lot of overspray around these panels. Now, we don't want to be trying to blend over this overspray. It will leave a very rough blend, and it will leave, again, the colour not quite looking right once you've done your blend. So as you can see here, look, that is just how much overspray has come off from just colouring that door up. And obviously we're in a proper booth here. We've got a very high airflow. So if you're doing this in a lesser environment where you haven't got as much airflow, really do make sure that you tack cloth everything down extremely well. Now once you're happy that everything's clean, we can get onto the blends. Now again, I have got this around 1 to 1.2 bar. We've got around about a medium amount of fluid, and this is the only time that I would say when we're actually painting a car that I would say don't keep your spray gun completely parallel to the car. As you can see, rather than trying to do some fancy flick, I'm literally just turn your wrist out with the spray gun, and what that will do is increase the distance that the paint is going down the car. So rather than having my spray gun completely parallel to the car, I literally, as you can see there, I'm just turning the spray gun away from myself, which is leaving the part where it's parallel being the wettest part, and then as I'm turning away, it's increasing the distance, which then leaves that dusty not dusty, but it then leaves that light blend coat. Then after doing the blend coat, I'd come across the door that we've solid coloured with a nice little drop coat just to make sure that metallics are right. And as you can see here, again, I'm just giving this another little blend out just to make sure that everything looks nice. And on a job like this, we've got plenty of room. We've got all this pillar up at the top, we've got all the pillar at the back, and we've got all the door at the front. Now, as you can see here by the demonstration, we're close there, and as we twist the gun out, it gets further away. So as it gets further away, the paint will fall finer down the door, and that will just lightly blend that paint out throughout that door. And you want to do this obviously the same on the quarter panel and the front door, and just lightly feather those out. Now, if you've got something like a colour check light, you could knock the booth lights off or knock your workshop lights off and just check the colour to make sure that everything looked right before you went onto the clear coat stage or anything like that. And normally I would just give it 2 or 3 light little blends like this. And like I say, we can come quite a way up this door, because as long as we don't touch the mask in there or we don't get too far back, we've got a nice long distance there that we can go from a nice wet coat all the way out to that nice blend coat. And we've got plenty of distance on the quarter panel as well to be able to move that metallic right down the car. And as I said, one of the biggest things for me personally with something like this is your spray gun choice and also your air pressure. You know, you want to make sure that you're running at a nice low air pressure, and that you've got a spray gun that will handle base coats extremely well and atomize them really well at a low pressure. Now, I've left the clear coat stage in for this job so you guys can see this job finished, so you can see how this blends come out and how it's all worked together to come together nicely to give us that nice long fine blend between the change of what would technically be the new shade that's on the center door, and then obviously blending out into the side of the car nicely. As far as color matching goes, you've got a few options. Obviously, if you've got a camera like we have, you can camera it, or if you're ordering the paint in, then you could take say the fuel flap off the car or something like that, take it down to your local paint suppliers and get them to paint chip it to the paint code, so they would find the best shade that was the best match for you. And then that shade in return with the blending work will then give you obviously the best match that you can get. Now, clear coat wise for this, I am actually using the multi-mix new HS stuff that I believe is not quite out yet. This is a test sample that I was sent out to take a look at. And obviously this isn't a job that we're trying to get really nice and wet and really nice and glassy. We just want a nice wet peel finish to this car that will match in with the rest of the factory finish on it. After this, Volvo's not actually got a bad finish as far as, you know, factory peel goes, to be fair. The wing at the front end was quite nice anyway. This front door was quite nice. The centre door and the rear quarter have had a bit of work before, so we did 1000 hand pad those off, 1000 disc those off to take the peel right out. So now when we're spraying it, we can put a nice matching factory peel all the way down the side. Then we can hopefully just give a quick little nib and a polish. Here you can just see me doing a little quick tack test. It's the first time I've used this clear, so I just wanted to make sure that it was nice and tacky before I started putting this second coat on. I am running my DVR clear at around about 2.5 turns out on the fluid. I'm running a full fan, and as always I've got the air pressure set to 2 bar there on the gauge. Now, 2 full wet coats on this looked really nice and wet. There's 1 or 2 little nibs, but I have to say it came out exceptionally clean. The peel matched in very nicely with the rest of the car, so it was literally just a quick job for one of the lads. The next day, just to give this quick nib and a quick polish on this side. And the blend came out really nicely, and the amount of questions that I've had about blends recently, it's just, I would just concentrate on your repair area or the panel that you're trying to colour up and get to the right colour first. Get that up to where you need it, and then work on your blend and your drop coat. Don't try and do everything at once until you've got a bit more skill and a bit more confidence behind you, because it is always best to sort of approach the job in a sort of a broken down way if you're a little bit unsure about it. So start off by just concentrating on that door, make that step 1, make step 2, then obviously you're cleaning down and your blend work, And whether you're blending this both ways or you're just blending this one way, say into one door, it makes no difference. Just split the process up a little bit, make it a little bit easier on yourself, do it one step at a time and make sure that each step's done. And then hopefully at the end of it, when you're all done and dusted, it'll look nice. You'll end up with that nice transition of your blend. So once it's clear coated like this, which you'll see in a second on the little bit of video footage and the photos, you know, there is no way you will see the transition of where we've put colour down on the side of this car once it's all been clear coated up and sealed like that. So I hope this video has been helpful for one or two of you guys. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, hit like if you've enjoyed the video, and also hit the bell to be notified of when we've got a new upload. That's it for me for today, guys, and I'll see you again soon. Bye for now.